In the long and extraordinary history of ancient Rome, few institutions are as fascinating, as politically complex, or as historically consequential as the cult of the emperors. It was a practice that blurred the boundary between the human and the divine, transforming mortal rulers, men who ate, slept, aged, and died, into objects of worship, temple dedications, and priestly devotion across a vast empire stretching from Britain to Mesopotamia. It was simultaneously a religious phenomenon and a political one, a sincere expression of reverence and a calculated instrument of imperial propaganda. Understanding it means understanding something essential about how Rome held itself together across centuries and continents. The cult of the emperors did not emerge in a vacuum. It grew from deep roots in the religious cultures of the ancient Mediterranean world, drew on Greek precedents of heroic veneration, absorbed Eastern traditions of divine kingship, and was shaped by the genius of individual Roman rulers who understood instinctively that religion and power are inseparable tools of governance. To understand the cult of Roman emperors, one must look beyond Rome itself. According to Britannica's authoritative account of ancient Rome, the cult originated in the 4th century BCE, when Alexander the Great first received veneration through titles, symbols, and forms of address that treated him as a superhuman being. To the peoples of Egypt, where pharaohs had been worshipped as living gods for millennia, and to the cultures of the Middle East with their own traditions of divine kingship, this must have seemed entirely natural. Alexander was not merely a great conqueror, he was, to those who encountered him, something that transcended ordinary humanity. The Greeks themselves were familiar with the concept of the hero, a mortal who, through extraordinary achievement in life, was elevated after death to a higher existence. Heroes like Achilles, Hercules, and Pythagoras were believed never truly to have died but to have been translated into a divine realm. As Rome expanded into the Greek world, this tradition of heroic veneration entered Roman consciousness and was gradually adapted to Roman political purposes. The death of Julius Caesar and its immediate aftermath marked the true beginning of the Roman imperial cult. In April 44 BCE, a freedman supporter of Caesar erected a pillar over the dictator's ashes in the Forum and began offering cult worship to him as a being now resident among the gods. Remarkably, many ordinary citizens joined in, a spontaneous popular expression of devotion that spoke volumes about the emotional connection the Roman people had developed with their extraordinary leader. Caesar's heir Octavian recognized immediately the political power of this impulse and pressed for the Senate to formally declare Caesar divine. The Senate obliged, voting the deification of Julius Caesar in 42 BCE, making him Divus Julius, the first Roman to be officially elevated to divine status. This act was not merely religious sentiment, it was calculated genius. By becoming the son of a god, Octavian, soon to be Augustus, transformed his own claim to power from that of a successful general and politician into something infinitely more potent, the heir of divinity itself. His coins would later carry the proud legend Son of God. No figure was more important in shaping the imperial cult into a coherent, empire-wide institution than Augustus, Rome's first emperor. Yet he approached his own deification with characteristic caution and political sophistication. The assassination of Julius Caesar, which had occurred shortly after Caesar's apotheosis, served as a powerful warning. Associating too closely with divinity while still living could inflame republican sensibilities and inspire murderous resentment. Augustus therefore navigated a careful middle path. He allowed the construction of temples dedicated to him in the eastern provinces, where the tradition of ruler worship was deeply rooted and culturally familiar, while in Rome itself, he was worshipped more indirectly, in conjunction with the goddess Roma, the divine personification of Rome. In 27 BCE the cult of the genius of Augustus was established, directing that a libation be poured to his guardian spirit at both public and private banquets. The Senate authorized a golden shield to be set up in the Senate House, celebrating his military virtue, clemency, justice, and social and religious responsibility.